Over the past few months, I've been tracking something unusual. And I'm talking about small YouTube channels. And the ones I'm talking about are under 5,000 subscribers. And you know what I found out? Some of them are landing breakout videos at a rate that doesn't make sense on paper. One video with 200 views, and then suddenly the next one has 40,000 or 90,000, or pushes them straight into monetization. And it's not random. It's not even luck. It's not the algorithm just loved them. No. There is a repeatable pattern behind all of this. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. This isn't generic post consistently advice. This is a three-part structure that I've watched play out across different niches, different audiences, and different creator types in 2026. And here's the important part that you should know about. All three pieces of the puzzle have to work together. If you miss one, then the growth is going to stall. So let's break down exactly what's causing small channels to suddenly explode and how you can apply it deliberately to your channel and not accidentally. Let's start with the first and most uncomfortable reality though. As a small creator, your content is not judged primarily on its quality. It's judged on its metrics. When a viewer sees two videos on the same topic, one with 12 views and one with 1.2 million views, the vast majority will click the one with 1.2 million views. That decision happens in seconds. It's not deeply analytical, it's subconscious. This is social proof bias. That's what I call it. Humans assume that if many other people choose something, it must be valuable. High numbers signal safety. Low numbers signal risk. So if you upload a video titled How to Build Muscle and you have 7 followers, your video will be shown next to established fitness creators with millions of views and years of authority. Even if your advice is solid, viewers will assume that the bigger creator has more expertise and authority. This creates a structural disadvantage for beginners like us. The mistake most new creators make is trying to compete directly on authority before they even have that kind of authority. You cannot win that battle in the early stages of your YouTube channel. So instead of competing on authority, you're going to reposition yourself. You lean into your actual status. Let me explain what I mean. If you're new to YouTube, you don't frame your video as an ultimate guide. You frame it as a documented experience. So instead of how to build muscle, you would say something like what happened when I trained for 30 days as a beginner, or how I started my fitness journey with zero experience. Now, you are not competing with experts when you do that. You are offering relatability and transparency. This means that the viewer's expectation is going to shift. They're not going to click because they think that you are the best in the world on this topic and niche. They're clicking because they're curious about your journey. That's a different psychological trigger. This approach works because viewers often connect more strongly with progression than perfection. A polished expert can be impressive, but a relatable beginner can be engaging, and that's the difference. And by the way, before we get into examples and how to exactly apply all of this to your specific channel, I put together a completely free 10-step guide that helps you figure out why your videos aren't getting views right now and what to do about it. I'm going to drop the link below so that you can grab it, and make sure that you do. All right, so Joe Fraser is a strong example of this principle. His first video reached 31 million views. He wasn't positioned as an authority with a decade of credibility. He positioned himself as someone starting, trying, and documenting. That authenticity resonated with the audience. The lesson isn't to be vulnerable for attention. It's this: if you lack authority, then compete on perspective, compete on narrative, compete on process. That's step one. Now, step two is where this framework becomes strategic instead of emotional. And I'm going to explain. You need proven demand. In SEO, there's something called the skyscraper method. You find content ranking highly on Google, and then you create a better, more updated, more detailed version. The logic is simple. The demand is already there. It's already validated by Google. Content creation works the same way. But here's where people kind of get this wrong. When creators here find what's working, they immediately study massive creators like MrBeast, Alex Omozi, or other big production channels. That's a flawed analysis. Large creators have brand power. They have a brand. They have distribution. They have built-in audiences. So if they post a mediocre video, it can still perform well simply because of the scale and who exactly they are. You cannot isolate the idea from the brand because there's something called brand effect. Instead, you should look for outliers from smaller creators. An outlier is when a small channel, say somebody with 2,000 subscribers, suddenly has one video that reaches 100,000 views or more. That jump indicates that the idea itself resonated beyond the channel's normal reach. But you have to figure out how to search for those outliers. Are you searching for recent uploads? Are you sorting by view count? Looking at subscribers to view ratios? Try to avoid outliers more than a year old. When I started posting, I was getting almost no traction. I was only getting a handful of views and minimal engagement. It felt very discouraging because my effort wasn't translating into results. Then what I did was I started noticing patterns. Several small creators in my niche were posting videos with extremely similar titles and thumbnails. Variations of just start or how content creation changed my life in 90 days. And those videos consistently outperform the rest of their content on their channel. That repetition was data. It was a coincidence if multiple unrelated small channels were experiencing the same breakout around similar framing. So, instead of trying to invent something completely original, I created my own version of it. Same validated angle, my story, my personal story, my personal perspective, and my delivery. That video reached roughly 300,000 views and that was my turning point. Another creator, Nick, applied the same strategy, identified a small channel outlier, created his own structured version with improved framing. That video reached around 90,000 views and helped push his channel into monetization. And I know you can do the same. The point is not copying titles word for word. The point is identifying proven emotional hooks and building your own angle around them. When a small creator succeeds with a specific framing, you know that the idea has market resonance. That reduces creative guesswork. You don't have to, think about or come up with ideas yourself. Always remember that. Okay, so now we have the positioning and validated ideas. The third piece determines whether you stay in the game long enough for this to actually compound. And you also have to consider quality versus quantity. That is very important. This debate is constant in creative spaces. Should you focus on making perfect videos or should you post frequently? The mistake that beginners make is trying to optimize both of them at the same time. They try to upload consistently while also making every single video cinematic, deeply edited, perfectly scripted, and flawless. That combination often leads to burnout. I can attest to that because I experienced it directly. I launched a channel that actually performed well. One video passed 600,000 views. The channel grew to around 45,000 subscribers. But from day one, I treated every upload like a production level masterpiece. Hours of editing, obsessing over every cut, perfectionism. And on top of that, I was uploading every single day. And I'm talking about this channel. That's a lot of pressure to put on yourself. Yeah. It worked initially, but it wasn't sustainable. The channel stalled at 7 long form videos because the production demand drained my creative energy. Burnout isn't dramatic, it's slow depletion. You lose excitement, you delay uploads, momentum suddenly fades. The correction was simple for me, but counterintuitive. Quantity first, then quality. Not because quality doesn't matter, it absolutely does, but quality improves through repetition. When you increase output, several measurable shifts occur. You become faster at scripting, you become more comfortable on camera, like I am, I hope I am. You reduce overthinking, you experiment more freely, you detach yourself emotionally from single video performance. With repetition, skill compounds naturally. This mirrors how skill acquisition works in every other domain. Athletes they don't perfect one swing before practicing again. Musicians don't release one flawless song and stop. They practice, they iterate, they improve through volume. Creative fluency requires repetition, the same thing. When you focus only on perfection, you're going to restrict repetition. When you focus on momentum, you accelerate growth. Eventually, something subtle happens. Your videos improve without you consciously trying to perfect them. Your pacing tightens. Your hooks get sharper. Your storytelling becomes more structured. That's what repetition does. Quality becomes a byproduct of consistency. So the full framework looks like this. First, you're going to position yourself correctly based on your current authority level. Don't try to compete as an expert if you're new to this game. Compete as a documented journey or fresh perspective. Second, you're going to reduce idea risk by studying small channel outliers. Identify emotional patterns and framing that already resonates with your target audience. Build your version around validated demand. Third, you're going to prioritize output to build skill and avoid burnout. Momentum creates fluency. Fluency increases quality. That's how it works. None of this guarantees viral success, though, just so you know. But it dramatically increases your probability of traction. Small creators often fail not because they lack talent, but because they compete in the wrong category, chase oversized models, and overwhelm themselves with perfectionism. And you don't want to do that. This 3-part structure addresses those 3 bottlenecks directly. It's not motivational, it's mechanical. And when all 3 of these are applied together, combined, and not done individually, that's when small creators like you and I stop feeling invisible and start seeing measurable growth. If you want to go deeper on getting more views on your channel, go ahead and check out the free ebook that I mentioned and that I promised you initially. The link will be in the description. Everything you need is right there. And if you are interested in knowing how to get more views on your channel, then I check out the video appearing on the screen above, or check out my playlist. And because I have a few videos like this one. So yeah, click on onto that video, and I'll see you there. Take care now.